so we recorded the initial segment, the first 10 minutes or so. Arthur and Christine were just telling us a little bit about their personal health and fitness journey. So Christine had a background in gymnastics, and then she got into weightlifting. She's a people person, she was in hospitality, so that's how she sort of wound up being part of this gym and running this gym. And then Arthur had a background playing sports, went on to play professional baseball, and then sort of navigated his way through becoming a trainer, managing a gym, things like that, and that's how this whole thing came together. So we're going to pick up from there.
Yes, so our next question is, how did Prestige Fitness come about?
So give us the evolution.
Yeah,
The
give us the
evolution.
start. Yeah.
All right, so from the
Well, we
start, yeah, from the start, from when we opened up the facility, right, we were affiliated with CrossFit, so we were known as CrossFit Prestige. CrossFit was a great, catalyst for our presence in the community, being able to get our name out there, being able to service the community with health and fitness. We were affiliated with CrossFit going on almost 9 years till we got to the point where we felt it was time for us, after so much time, to take ownership of our brand, ownership of our services, ownership of what we provide, and just ownership of ourselves, to be honest with you, and not be under any brand name or any umbrella, to be our own, to give us the opportunity to be unique and stay unique. And if anything, just sail our own ship.
Yeah, and I'll kind of put a little something in there. So we met doing that. We met doing CrossFit, and it just evolved from like, we can do this, basically. And so we talked about it, and we decided that we were going to open up our own place. And then there's that little part he kind of left out.
Right at the start. That was right
Pre, before opening, but
First
that's
there was
something we
love.
talked.
Yeah,
we talked about opening up our own place, and so it stemmed from there. Like our love for fitness and just something we just I don't know, just like, let's do this together.
Yeah.
So we decided we'd open and then
Don't worry about that, let's just keep recording.
Okay.
Okay, so, next question.
Well, have you guys been in this facility the whole time you've been open? So you've been in this one location?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You sort of started you guys have had the same format pretty much? You've always been a group class, starting with CrossFit style and then building your own style with that?
Correct. Not that personally, not that I don't like one-on-one clientele. I do. I think there's great value in that as well. But for me, also, you just can't match the energy of a group. Especially when you have long-standing members and clients that you've known for such a long time, that they help create the ambiance that you have within your facility. Like I said, the energy is just unmatched when it's a group of 15 to 20 people as opposed to just one. So from a personal point of view, as well as, and I think I can speak for Christine on this one too, we absolutely just feed off of that energy. We love that energy. It makes us better at our jobs. It makes us better as trainers and business owners, to be honest with you, as well. So we've always kept that model, and I think we'll probably continue to keep that model just because we enjoy it a lot. We really do. And I think people also enjoy that too. They feed off the energy as well. Absolutely.
It's like in this kind of setting, I feel like it's almost exponential. It's like 1 + 1 = 4.
Right.
Just the vibe. So since you guys have recently kind of honed in your own brand, you've stepped away from being under the CrossFit umbrella, what are some of the things that made your gym unique as far as atmosphere, programming, whatever else that makes Prestige Fitness Aventura a really unique place for someone to come work out?
Ultimately, I think it's the community that makes us stand out. I know it sounds weird to say, but like we are one big happy family. We are.
Talk louder than you
Talk
think you
louder.
need to, because
Gotcha. It's community for sure. We have a great group of individuals.
Yeah.
Everyone's here to motivate each other. We're all here for the same thing. We want health and fitness, but what keeps everyone coming back is that community, the friendships that are being built. So for me, when I started also, that was like the biggest thing, was being in the group, being part of the community, all of us working towards the same goals, yes, some of them are a little bit more individual, but at the end of the day, we want to be fitter, longer, healthier for a longer period of time. Kind of add on.
So, I mean, for us, absolutely, she touched on the community. I think that's one of the major key components of most fitness facilities like this as well, you know, as a community. I think every single one is a little bit diverse and different. I think ours is very unique just because we have unique individuals in here, and I think that they bring something great to the table. I think they bring in great energy. I think they bring in a great attitude as well, and they're just good people. And so that is one of the things that obviously sets us apart. But also the other thing is, and not to say that any gym isn't doing it, because there's some phenomenal gyms out there that do great jobs of managing and coaching as well. But I do feel that here, and I can only speak for ourselves, that I think every single trainer here really cares, right? We are invested in every single one of our members. There's not a day that goes by I myself as a programmer for the gym and programming workouts. There are times where I've changed workouts, the entire workout, because I remembered one specific person can't do a particular movement and I didn't want them to have to double up. And so I changed the workout for the entire gym because of that. And I think it's just because we're really invested in each and every single individual, and we really, really care. And it's not just Christine and I at the top, it's just every employee, and that kind of trickles down to everybody as well, you know, from the top.
Yeah, when you walk in the door, it's not just, you're not a number. You're an actual individual. We know you. We've known you guys for years. We build relationships with you guys. So like we know you on another level than you just walking into maybe like a global gym. No offense, but you know, like here, check in, swipe, and that's it. You're kind of off on your own. Whereas here, we spend so many hours and days with these people that they become part of our extended family, and we know them on another level, on a very personal level. We know what they're able to do, what they're capable, what they need to work on. And so as everyone comes in, we're all working on the same goal to come in and have the best hour of your day. But everyone has modifications. Some people aren't able to do specific movements or things due to injury or whatever the case is, just because they can't. So we're always working with, even though we're working in group classes, we're working with one-on-one with individuals to make sure that they're able to do what they're capable of physically, you know, changing and modifying things.
Yeah, and also to just add to that, just not just on the social aspect as well, but we also do have a lot of experience in training individuals. We have been doing it now for the better part of 9 years, me a little bit more, because I was coaching before we opened up this facility as well. But the amount of years that we have kind of put together when they're trying to figure out like a group and how many years of experience they have. So when you start adding, you know, 11 plus years, you know, 9 years, another coach, another 9 years, you know, we have a good amount of experience. And that's not by luck, you know, it's by design. We make sure that we definitely keep up to what's going on, movements, and it allows us to also work with every single type of individual that walks in the door, because that's an important thing as well. It allows us to adjust to that individual if, like Christine said, we have to modify anything, we have to change anything, be able to be quick on our feet to understand that if this individual has some type of issue, what can we do? So that way their experience isn't lackluster, that way it's a good experience as well, even though they have to modify certain things.
Yeah, definitely.
And I am a true believer in everything you guys are saying because I see it with my own eyes. I walk in and I know if somebody's struggling with movement. Every coach that I'm working with, no matter what time the class is, everybody is so focused on that individual, number one, performing a safe movement that they can do, and just following up on it. Just saying, okay, you want to practice this movement, let's kind of break down the movement and let's understand what are the key components to get there. One thing that I'll never forget is after a class, we were working on a movement, and you actually drew a picture for me on the whiteboard, and I really appreciated that because it allowed me to understand the movement even further. And I understand movement, right, as a healthcare professional, but I really appreciated that you took the time to break it down and say, here's how we're going to get there, and these are the components that you need to perform the movement. And not just that, but I mean, you guys, I believe in this gym so much, and what I love about it is that you guys care so much. Yeah. And people feel that, you know, people really, really feel that. We've had patients that have come in from the gym, and I've never come across another healthcare facility that really follows up and really wants to be involved in the process of performance care. So I mean, I couldn't be above it more. I applaud you guys for that.
Yeah, and just for another example, you know, we've come here and we've done we did a lecture and a movement workshop. You know, we've gone to other group fitness facilities that, you know, it is a group training atmosphere, but it's not a tribe, it's not a community. And you guys show up to stuff in flocks, you know, and you see the same people, they show up to stuff, you know what I mean? And that's not every gym, you know, when us as chiropractors in the area show up to try to, you know, lend some help to gyms and give people our perspective to make their fitness experience better. Most places don't have the kind of numbers that you guys bring, and that's just a testament to like that your group kind of believes in you guys, they believe in each other, and if, all right, we're going to this mobility thing, we're going to go as a group. And so you guys have these great groups, and they're very open-minded. So
Yeah, we do have a good group.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, and that segues into our next question, which you kind of touched upon, and that is, how has your programming changed over the years? Like, with your experience and what you've seen members struggle with, and certain movements, you can choose a movement if you want to talk about one, but how has your programming evolved over the years?
with the ebb and flow of CrossFit.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, it's definitely evolved quite a bit. Because to be honest with you, very early on, especially since we come from a CrossFit background, so very early on, competition, the big sexy movements were a big component of what you were seeing at the time, right? Everybody wanted to do muscle ups and handstand push-ups and clean and jerk, 315 pounds, etc. So over the time, we have been able to progress because we have started to understand a little bit more and more what's actually important, when it comes to health and fitness. And we've also learned that personally as well, because as we've continued to do this, and as we've continued to get older, we've continued to evolve as well. And we've figured out over time as to what is really important and what is not as important to just the general biomarkers when it comes to like health, and where somebody is at. So for us, what has happened is since I program basically every single workout for the gym, I've moved away from certain movements. I've inputted some movements in our programming. I've taken away some of the more higher skilled movements as well that the vast majority of people have, a tough time doing for either the level of skill or mobility purposes that not a lot of people have. So I'll just take like overhead squatting, for example. It's a very difficult movement for for a vast majority of individuals, that it's one that we don't put as much emphasis on as something else that may be a little bit more, generally speaking, inclusive for most people. But we can still gain strength, even though we're not doing one movement, we can still be gaining strength in a very similar fashion doing another one. And so what's happened is we've just, if anything, not by accident, but by design as well, have gotten smarter, and because we've also seen the evolution of our members, and we've also seen, since we watch people move on a daily basis every single day, we can see certain patterns in most people, and we can see what are the things that people really struggle with, and what are the things that people, generally speaking, can perform. And then we just add different variables to that, different degrees of difficulty to that, just to make things a little bit more difficult or easier or different, or variable.
Yes.
We just change.
Something that we talk about a lot as we've evolved is like, one specific movement isn't gonna change, your fitness. So like if you're, like we talked about, like a ring muscle up or an overhead squat, which you guys know is, the shoulders are very susceptible to injury, they're very delicate. We just, like you mentioned, we've stopped, or maybe not as much, doing specific movements. Our priority here is safety first. So if it's something we don't feel like you're ready for, you're not able to do, we're not going to allow you to do it, really. We want to keep you safe. We want you here, have a good time, and get your fitness on, but at the same time, our goal for you guys is to keep you guys safe. We want you to keep coming back. You want to keep coming back. So that's like a big priority for us is safety, you know, mechanics, how your body moves.
And that's just, and honestly, that's just on the trainer end of it. We're business owners as well. So it's like a line that we have to toe, you know, as to figuring out what our members want, what's good for business, what's not good for business, what our members need, you know, and just kind of, we have to look at the big picture type of thing, you know, always, rather than just kind of like micro dissect things. Sometimes we have to look at the bigger picture and just see what's better, generally speaking. You know, and then kind of just like play off of that. So it doesn't mean that we can't offer those higher skill movements. It just means that it won't be part of our general programming. And it might be something that if somebody wants to add a little extra spice to it, they're able to, then we can go ahead and kind of offer them that as well. You know?
And that being said, when we are doing high skill movements, we always offer other modifications
Yes,
for those
they
that
do.
are not
They do.
stable. So let's say, for instance, a handstand push-up. Not everybody wants to flip upside down on the wall, and that is okay. We're not asking you to. However, for those of you that are doing those high skill movements and want to, we're allowing you the opportunity. But for those that can't or unable, like we said, for injury purposes, you are able to do other modifications as a press, for instance. That's just one, you know. So there is something for everyone.
Like I said, even when you want to do those movements, I just see you guys like walking around, whether it's me, whether it's someone else, like you're there making sure that that person is performing right. And if they need to bring it back, or if they can do it and you want to kind of push them to their potential, then you do.
We know all of you as individuals. We see you 5, 6, 7 nowadays a week. So we know what you're capable. We know your limitations. We know how much more you can push. And so that's what we're here for, is to either pull you in a little bit or kind of push you in that direction too. So
Let me ask a question that's a little off the script because it just popped in my head. But how CrossFit as a whole has, you know, there was a stretch there, like call it 2013 to 2016, that was super games heavy.
Yeah.
Games was on ESPN. They were putting out a lot of content. Recently, maybe in the last 2 years, they've pulled away from that. Have you seen a difference in people's expectations, goals, what they want from this experience since CrossFit as a whole has shifted directions, you know?
Yeah, so and let me just say this, we, even though we may have de-affiliated from CrossFit, we believe in CrossFit's methodology wholeheartedly. So that's where our background comes from, and we did not shift gears because we have a difference of opinion when it comes to methods and training, etc. All right, this was a business move, a calculated move on our end, you know, as far as taking ownership of our brand. That being said, going back to what Will was saying, so since there has been less of a, I guess you would say, like worldwide focus and coverage on, you know, CrossFit as a sport, right? What we have seen over the past few years is that there has been less and less people, how do I say this? Not necessarily, less and less people aware of CrossFit because it's not impacted, you know, the world as much because there's less coverage of it, right? But what it also has done is, I guess what I'm trying to say is like I said, so CrossFit, because they're not in the sphere as much anymore, we haven't seen as much people coming in asking, you know, to do CrossFit. So for us, what we also feel is we're in a position right now where, as a fitness facility, we can become more inclusive, right? We don't have to stick to a particular demographic. We can cast a wider net to get people to come in. And I think people right now, because like I said, there's less and less people that know, because there was a street where CrossFit was very hot, the name was very hot, you know, and it's because it was like the new kid on the block, you know, and there was a lot of coverage and there was a lot of excitement about it. But now I kind of feel over the years the excitement has kind of gone down, you know, it happens a lot of times with trends. You can see it with, let's say, Zumbas and, you know, Orange Theories and stuff like that. They'll be hot when they first hit the block. But now, since it's kind of died down a little bit more, I don't think people's goals in fitness have changed. I think everybody wants to be fit, right? I guess people are just kind of looking at what type of flavor they want, you know what I'm saying? What is it from fitness that they want? Like, what is it that they want to do? Do they want to do something like high intensity training? Do they want to do something more like interval? Do they want to do circuit training? Do they want to do weightlifting, etc.? You know, I think people are just kind of trying to find out what it is that they want. And with so many different options, you know, especially nowadays, there's so many different options in the space. So, I mean, you have everything you can think of, from spinning to high intensity training to boot camps to circuit trainings to very boot camps.
I just feel like we're able to touch on a little bit about
Yeah,
what
exactly.
you are. So to beauty, it's kind of like a one-stop shop here.
Yeah.
We're trying to we're not trying to be great for just one specific area. We're just trying to be generally good for everybody and bring in health and fitness, you know, as best as we possibly can. I guess that's what we're trying to do, and that's what we've seen, especially since CrossFit has been a little bit, you know, down as far as popularity. Let's say.
It did. It appears that way also because it exploded on the fitness. And, you know, within 5 years, it was like the biggest thing in fitness. You know, so trends come and go, but I think the CrossFit coming out, the affiliates, everything, it made a big footprint in the fitness space. You know, it's going to last a while, and now people are, you know, taking it in different directions.
Yeah.
You know?
It absolutely did, and yes, exactly what you just said there at the end. You're seeing a lot of gyms de-affiliate from CrossFit, but it's not because they have a difference of opinion. It's just because it's a natural evolution, I guess, of any type of business, where when you get people that are doing it, they themselves might have a difference of opinion as far as how they want to run it, you know, or they might just want to take their business in a completely different direction, you know, and they might want to focus on X, Y, and Z that might not be part of the culture of another type of brand, you know, and that's what happened with us. We got to a particular point where we just wanted to kind of just own our own brand. We thought it was time. We thought we had done what we needed to do to create a footprint within the area that we're at and within the fitness space, that we could take it to the next level and just be owners of what is our service that we're providing.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, back to the script. What are some of the misconceptions you feel that people have from the outside looking in about, let's call it CrossFit style training?
Gotcha. It's hard, you know. I can't do it unless I'm elite. It's too hard. It's, you know, it's not for me, etc. And the thing is this type of training, be it, you know, CrossFit or high intensity training, etc. Everything can be modified. Everything should be modified, you know, to a particular individual's needs, you know. And what ends up happening a lot of times, I think people come in with a predisposed, you know, idea of what this kind of looks like. And the problem is unfortunately, until somebody steps foot in the door and actually tries it, they might not have a real opinion on it. You know, their opinion is based on what they think rather than what they've experienced or they know. So I think that's the biggest thing. I'm not in shape enough. This is gonna be hard, absolutely. You know, it should. Anything that changes you should challenge you, you know, but they just have to give stuff a try,
Right.
you know, to see whether or not it does actually work for them or not. You know?
Yeah, that's why we're always telling people, just try it once. Come in. Just come in and try it. Anyone can do fitness, to be honest.
You can do fitness.
Anyone can do fitness. Like we said, we just work with the individual. Even though we're in those groups, we can still work with the individual. So it's like, if you're wondering or curious, just come in. There's only one way to find out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Is to actually try it. So that's basically what we tell people. But yeah, go ahead.
So the next question that I have, and it's kind of a segue into what you just said. So when somebody comes in, brand new, first time ever doing this kind of training, how do you overcome those barriers and those preconceived notions about, you know, this kind of training style being difficult and you can't do it? Like, how do you help someone that's new to this overcome it?
Well, hopefully they come in with a good attitude. I mean, you're walking in through the door, so you're curious. I always like to ask a lot of questions, like, do you have any prior injuries, any limitations, when's the last time you worked out, what type of workout did you do? So we kind of like to ask those questions first to kind of gauge where they stand. You know, I ask them what they're looking for, and then we kind of treat them, like I said, on an individual basis. You know, what are you looking for? And like I said, how are you feeling? And then we kind of go from there. If it's someone that hasn't done anything in a really long time, depending on what the workout is, we will modify it for someone. You come in and you pretty much already know what to do. Someone else comes in that hasn't exercised in 5 years, okay, we're going to modify. We're going to make those changes for those people. We're also going to see how they're feeling throughout. So it's not like, here it is, do it, bye. It's, we're all on top of them, making sure that they're comfortable, that everything that they're doing feels right. If they need to take a break, they're going to take a break. So as for, I mean, we all do this, but that's how I treat everyone that's coming in. It's not, maybe not quite sure of questioning. We want to give them the best possible service, the hour that they're here, the best experience that we can possibly give them. Based off, like I said, the individual. Not everybody's on the same boat. So that's how I go about it.
Yeah.
Do, but me personally.
It's just making them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
They have to feel comfortable. I mean, I think we've all experienced it where you tend to gravitate towards places that you're comfortable, that you feel welcomed, that you feel you're a part of, you know, that tribe mentality, I'm part of, you know, a group. And so for me, I think that's the biggest aspect, period. You know, the training is important. There's absolutely no doubt about that, because people come in, and the reason they come in is because they have particular goals, right? So the training aspect is absolutely important. But getting an individual to feel comfortable and feel good about where they're at, and feel confident as well, and know that they're being looked after and they're being taken care of. Well, to me, that's
right.
I think that's the most important aspect, and I think that's step one. To be honest with you, because we can't get to step two, which is the training, if step one isn't there and the person doesn't feel comfortable. They're going to be hesitant to everything that they're going to do. They're going to be very timid. They may not trust you right off the bat, and that's the thing. We're in the relationship business, right? We have to create relationships with people to be able to gain their trust, so that way they actually will listen to what it is that we're saying to them. Right? We have to get that trust from them, so we have to build that relationship. And that trust comes from when the person actually feels comfortable around you, they feel good around you, they know that you have their best intentions at hand. And then that's where then we move on to step two. Now here's the fitness, and let us take you through this.
Yeah. And I think it's really great that whenever somebody new comes in this gym, as soon as they're done, you're done talking to them about, you know, what are the limitations, any safety concerns, all of those things. You come in, you introduce them to the group, and the group is so receptive. Oh my God, like you get a clap every time you come in, every person feels welcome, and like it's just a good overall experience. And like you said, that immediately makes you feel comfortable. It makes you feel like, okay, these people aren't gonna judge me based on my fitness level. They are accepting, and they're already like clapping for me, like great.
You're not gonna go back. Nobody's gonna ever go back to a place that they don't feel comfortable at. I don't care whether it's a barber, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a gym. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you don't feel comfortable, you don't feel good, you don't feel welcome, you're not gonna come back, and that's just the way it is.
Everyone knows what it's like to be somewhere for the first time, to be the stranger in the room that nobody knows. And so our job, one, and two, what we want also is for everyone to feel comfortable, like they're part of the group. So that is why we introduce them to everyone. You know, everyone will say, you'll see our group, they're pretty friendly. They see someone new, they're like, hey, how are you? What's your name? So we just want everyone to feel comfortable when they walk through these doors. So it's a big priority for us.
Yeah, and that makes a huge difference, because when you do exercise in a group fitness class, you're a little exposed, right? Like you might not be the fittest person in the class, you're working out in front of other people. So if you feel like you're working out with people rather than in front of people, So we're gonna change gears a little bit. I'll just kind of combine the next two questions. So we are healthcare providers, chiropractors, and we work closely with a lot of trainers, coaches, fitness professionals in the community, both, you know, working on their clients, but also one of our main goals with people is when we're done with treatment and their body's healthy, we want to put them back into the funnel of healthcare, and that means sending them to a gym, to a trainer, to a coach. So where do you guys feel that you fall? What is your role sort of in the healthcare continuum, being fitness leaders in the community?
All right, so first and foremost, our goal is the care of every single individual, right? So anytime somebody comes in through the doors, they're obviously coming in through the doors because they're looking for something, right? And so we have a responsibility to try to take them through that process to try to get them to their goals, right? So our responsibility, to be honest with you, and Greg Glassman, actually, we have the quote on our blackboard. It says it is, you know, a trainer's responsibility to guide the athlete. So it's our responsibility to guide the individual, you know, through the process of reaching their goals, whatever that goal may entail, whatever it may be. All right, that is our responsibility. So we have a responsibility to the individual. All right, as trainers, number one. All right, obviously as trainers to help guide them through physical fitness to get to whatever goal there is, but also as owners, we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to each client, okay? Because as a trainer, I can have a group, and these can be the athletes that I have in my class. But then you switch gears, I'm an owner as well, we're owners as well. So now we have a responsibility to an individual as not just like an athlete in the class, but to them as a client, you know, as a member of our community, you know, but from a business owner's perspective. So I think for us as entrepreneurs, it's because we work in the business as well as working on the business, our responsibilities to our clients are just twofold, you know, from a trainer's perspective and from an owner's perspective as well. So yeah, we actually have like two different sets of responsibilities.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry, let me ask a follow-up to that.
Sure.
So, in terms of, you know, different, like, I consider like sort of fitness to be part of health.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously this is a facility where people get fit, but how much do you sort of get into nutrition, hydration, you know, all those psychology, all the other aspects of health that, you know, your clients are dealing with?
We get in as much as we need to for individuals. So yes, we're talking about hydration, nutrition, advice, guidance. So we're not licensed dietitians or whatever the case may be, but yeah, we're always going to guide them and help them based on their needs, how to do movement correctly, how to eat well if they want certain results. Not everybody's fitness journey or how they eat, training people how to make the changes in their life. It's different for everybody because everyone comes from, you know, we're a big melting pot of people here. So that's always interesting how people think they eat healthy, you know, and trying to guide them in that direction. You know, taking care of their body, things they can do at home, meaning like as far as mobility and movement and recovery and, you know, cool down. We don't really stretch in the class per se, we do more of like mobility movements. Movement is our way to kind of warm up. Cool down would be more of like that stretching. So, I mean, yeah, we work with everybody individually. Again, as a group, but always individual because everyone has different needs.
The thing is, every single one of those topics comes up a lot of times in side conversations, right? Yeah. So, you know, I might have a conversation with somebody, and the topic may come up about their rest and recovery, and so we'll kind of start going down that path a little bit. It's like, well, how much are you sleeping? You know, and just kind of start dissecting to figure out exactly what the individual should be doing more of or less of. And the same thing goes for nutrition and everything as well. There's a lot of side conversations that always occurs. So somebody might have a question about particular foods or whatever the case may be, how to combine certain meals, and then that just leads into another question and a discussion about nutrition. So a lot of times we have these conversations, and I think that's part of the unique position that we're in as far as trainers and business owners and being around the community, that they have access to us personally, as well as almost everybody has access to us on the phone.
They have
our
almost
number.
24/7 access
Yeah.
to us. Like we said, it's a very personal group. It's, they can reach out to us any day, anytime. And like Art said, those are side conversations, but in general, yes, we're speaking those things to them, but those tend to be more of those like personal, private side conversations as far as like rest, recovery, nutrition, things of that nature. Yeah, those are more like kind of one-on-one. Because again, not everyone, everyone's an individual. I can't treat you the way I treat her as far as like what we talk about. We're going to talk about maybe different things or how we talk about it. Sometimes male to male, female, so, we have different
totally
conversations, different dynamic, different people. So, overall, yes, we talk about all of those things, and then, like Art said, like then they can tend to be a little bit more individual based on.
We just try to be as available as we possibly can.
Yeah, we're pretty available.
And that's where that trust factor comes in, because a lot of times people won't ask for help, or they'll be embarrassed to ask for help for specific reasons, for whatever.
Maybe
Whatever.
they think we're too busy for them, and we're not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, or they just don't want to touch up on the topic, or maybe if you catch them at the right time, you are able to kind of start talking to them, or they'll open up to you about certain things. So I just think that goes back to like responsibility as well. We have a responsibility to be as available as we possibly can, and everybody should know that they can contact us through email, social media if they have to. Those that have our number.
Most of us have our number anyway.
Yeah.
We're texting our numbers regularly. Whether we're sending them to you, whether whatever the case may be. But it's, like I said, we're all close. It's very personal.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So, switching gears a little bit, talking about entrepreneurship and being a small business owner, what are your favorite parts about your job as a small business owner and an entrepreneur?
Especially now that it's 100%. It's all yours.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I absolutely love challenges, and being an entrepreneur is a challenge, right? You don't have anybody above you to help protect you or guide you in any way, shape, or form. If something goes wrong, it's not like, hey, I'm gonna expedite this up the ladder, to somebody else to figure it out for you. No, it's like the buck stops with you. You gotta figure it out. I absolutely love that challenge. I absolutely love the fact that we get to create something unique, something that is ours. Whether it succeeds or not, it doesn't matter. It's ours. It's something that we're creating. One of the things that I absolutely love about this type of business is when I take a look around. I have moments where I'll take a look around and you might have 20 plus people engaging together and talking, and it's when you look at that and knowing that you helped create that atmosphere, you helped create that moment where these individuals are engaging together, it's nice. It's nice to know that you were able to create something that has done good for a lot of people. It's kind of self-gratifying there, where you're like, pat yourself on the back, you're like, good job, job well done. So I absolutely love that aspect. I love the fact that I get to wake up every morning and open up, my doors rather than open up for somebody else. And like I said, whether things succeed or they don't, and thankfully it's succeeded for a good amount of time now as a small business. It's just I really just enjoy it. I love being a small business owner. I love owning my own brand. I love saying that is it's mine as well. But I also do love the fact that we have an opportunity and we have control of how much we can impact people's lives, and I really, really enjoy that part.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's why we're here. We're not here. I'm not saying we don't, how do I say this? Like, we're not in it for the money. We are, obviously, we have to provide, for our family, but ultimately we are here because this is what we love to do. We love the community that we've built, and just being able to provide fitness and help to others, and being able to help people through their journey, that's impacted us a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like Art said, I'll touch on also that, being able to wake up every day and not have to be like, oh, God, back another day at the office. No, I get to, this is my office.
Yeah.
This is amazing. I get to, we don't have to, we get to come in here every day and change people's lives and build relationships. as well as seeing other relationships that have been built because of the doors that we get to open every single day. It's beautiful.
Yeah, because we don't just, to be honest with you, for us, we don't just service people when it comes to like fitness, right? Our talks and our relationships with people, especially within our facility, go a little bit deeper than that. You know, we've had individuals for 7, almost 8 years where we've seen people, their children grow up over 8 years, you know, and it's a long span, you know. We've had individuals who started out with us when they were 16, and then now they're in their 20s, you know. We've had,
our coaches.
yeah, exactly. One of them is our coach David. We've had multiple births, you know, given while they were a member of our facility, and then continued on afterwards, and we've seen their kids and their families grow, and you know, all that. So, I mean, what's not to love about that? What's not to love about the fact that you've been in certain people's lives for such a long time, and plus you've been a very positive part of people's lives for such a long time. You know, that's something really special, and that's something that, you know, doesn't happen very often. You know, but we're small business owners, especially given our field, because we're able to touch each person's lives personally because of how small our business is and how intimate our business is. You know, that's something that drives us. We absolutely do.
Yeah, when we show up, we're not here to like check off the boxes, like got to do this, gotta do this, gotta do. No, it's not that. You know, like, oh, it's done already. No, we're here for you, for them. You know, so it's kind of like one of those things that
Yeah, it's definitely like I feel like we're like a little bit similar in that, like, you know, we went to school for a long time to be chiropractors, but I do more entrepreneur stuff than being a business owner. So it's almost like, you know, you have to sort of embrace and enjoy the business side of it, even if, you know, none of the 4 of us are like business, you know, we're trainers, we're people, whatever. You know, but you kind of have to embrace that side of it and enjoy that as well. And then, like, just like you guys said, like for us, there's so much back end work, but the time in the clinic is just 100% enjoyment, really. Like, you know, working with people, making their day better, getting them out of pain, training them, you know, fostering, building a place for people to get together and build relationships. You know, so there's definitely, it's interesting being a business owner where the business side of it is just to keep the part that you love kind of going. You know, it's not business for the sake of business.
Correct. Absolutely. And to play off that, so for us, or you know, and for myself, I take care of most of the back end stuff. You know, she's more of the people person. I am as well, but she's more of that type of people person. But so I handle a lot of the back end stuff. But I personally could say that I need to get in there with people. You know, I need to get in there with people. I need to be around people. I need to help people. Like,
because they get back to us too.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like, you feed off of that. I feed off of that. I feed off of energy. You know, I've had certain situations where there was zero energy, and so it showed on me as well. And I've had times where I've had, you know, a lot of people in a class, and although it can be hectic trying to get everybody on the same page, though, you know, trust me, without telling anybody, I do feed off of that. You know, I feed off of when there's like 40 people just randomly showing up to class. It's like, all right, how are we gonna figure this out? I might freak out a little bit.
That's the exciting part.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I might freak out a little bit, but in my head, you know, the wheels are churning, and that's what gets me going, is when I can actually try to solve problems. You know, that's one of the things that I absolutely
I definitely love the chaos, 100%.
Yeah.
I love it. It does get chaotic.
Next question.
It's you.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about all the positive things. What are the challenges of being a small business owner? If you were to name 2 big
Don't say there are
challenges.
none.
Oh, I can tell you. I can tell you that.
Your 2 biggest challenges.
I'll do
You know
one.
the clock.
I'll do one. Well, okay. There are more than 2. There are pros and cons. Obviously, the pros are always, this is why we're here, right? If you're sick, if you want to take off, you know, it's like, it's not that easy to just say, like, hey, boss, I'm going to take a sick day or a week off vacation and just pay me for that week that I was like, that's, you know, that's a difficult part, because we are here a lot and we have our family at home. We have 2 kids, and so it's not always that easy to just pack up and say, hey, we'll be out of town. We have employees that can run the business, but it's, you know, it's not always the same,
Yes.
or it's not as easy. We're a small business. We don't have hundreds of employees and tiers or hierarchy, you know, where we can say, like, it's us and then, you know, and then them. So it's not that easy to just say, hey, we're gone for a week. You know, I know that's like one of a few.
Yeah, I
things,
mean,
like,
there's many
have-
challenges. I mean, but
that's
for me,
crazy.
one of the biggest challenges is, well, you're on your own, right? Like I said earlier, you don't have anybody above you to make any type of decision or make any move, and if it goes well or it goes poorly, whatever, it's not your decision that you made. Everything does fall on you. You know, in some way, shape, or form, it always comes back to you, and it's your fault for, you know, to a certain extent, but it's your fault. So if something goes wrong, it's always your responsibility to either fix it, you know, or make sure that it doesn't happen again, or problem solve. You know, it just falls on you all the time, unless, you know, you have somebody under you, like a GM or something, that is gonna handle certain things and take it off your plate. But for the most part, for most small business owners, it's you and it's you.
Yeah.
You know, so when something goes wrong, it's you. You have to figure it out. It comes out of your pocket. You know, you have to triage what's the most, you know, important thing right now, and then just kind of start going from there. And one of the other things is there's always going to be something that doesn't go perfectly as planned as a business, as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur. There's always going to be something. There's always a new problem that has to be solved, you know, the next day or the next week, and things aren't always picture perfect. But for us, I know for me, but for us, the pros outweigh the cons always, you know. But there's quite a few challenges, you know, as far as
We had some.
there's quite a few challenges. Yeah, you don't have a 401k. You don't have like somebody that's gonna match your 401k.
Benefit,
You're gonna have somebody,
Yeah.
somebody that's gonna pay your health care. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's on you
Right.
to figure it out, and it's on you not only to figure that out, but it's on you also to take care of those under you, your employees as well. So, you know, when you have employees, they are dependent on what you're paying them. You know, going through obviously the pandemic that we're going through right now, we have employees.
Oh, we almost went through the whole thing without bringing it up.
No, but what I'm saying what I'm saying is that there's still a responsibility on our shoulders, no matter what, you know, to take care of those individuals that we're helping provide a life for.
Right,
You
because
know?
our employees are not just a number either. They're
Correct.
our family.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So everything it just falls on you, right? It
Yes.
rides up the ladder and it comes to you always.
Yeah.
You know? And some things are a little bit easier than others, and some things are gonna test you.
Yeah.
You know? Absolutely.
So this is not a question on the script, but something that came into my mind. I know a lot of small business owners out there that are, you know, struggling, or, you know, they're starting a brand new business, and you guys have had quite a long time in your business. What advice would you give a brand new business owner in their business to, you know, succeed and move forward?
I mean, God, we went through a lot. I would say definitely start small. Start small. I mean, I know we have like big visions and goals in our head, but I think one of the best things that you can do for yourself is start small. Like, all this equipment behind us, we didn't buy it all at once. You know what I mean? So you've got to start small. You've got to do the research. Make sure you know what you're getting into, the area that you're looking into, you know, the property that you're renting, things like that. He can elaborate a lot more, but I know for us, like, one thing is, like, you know, just start small, be smart, research everything that you're kind of getting yourself into. You don't want to just jump into it, and then these things start to kind of happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do the best that you can with the business that you're trying to open up. And then I'll kind of let you go, because we dealt with a lot, but he does most of that.
And you're never going to be out of the woods. Like, you're always going to be dealing with something. But I think one important attribute to have is patience. Gotta be patient, you know, because the funny thing is, the term overnight success really, to me, doesn't exist, because you ask any overnight successor, I guess if you can say, how long they've been doing whatever it is that they've become famous for, and they'll tell you, oh man, I started years ago and I've been, you know, grinding it out. So the big thing is patience. Yeah, sometimes you're gonna have a business that opens and, man, immediately it's gonna take off and running, all right? be patient and understand that that's not going to be probably the forever. It might just be in the moment type thing, but success takes time, and it's, you know, it just depends on what your measurement of success is, to be honest with you. But I think just being patient is the biggest thing, you know, taking one problem at a time, trying to solve it. And I know I'm saying this, but this is something that I have to work on every single day as well. You know, and as a business owner, just a human being in general, we're always working on our different skill sets. And I think patience is a skill. It's something that I don't think you're born with patience. I think you learn to actually have patience because you go through experiences, you go through things. And now, you know, the better part of 8+ years doing this, I wish I had more patience at the start. You know, because I overwhelmed myself with so many things going on, and that's inevitable when you're a business owner, especially when you're just starting out. You're going to go through things. You're going to have things that you're going to have to figure out. You're going to have small things. Yeah, things are going to happen. You're going to have small things. You're going to have big things. But you just have to also understand, just be patient with the process. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. It took a long time to get to every corporation, every single business, every single organization. There is a road and a path that they have to go, you know, on and through to be able to get to where you might see them now. It's kind of like an iceberg type of, you know, image where you have the tip of the iceberg where it's what everybody sees, but not everybody sees everything that's under the water, where it's just much more massive. And that's the amount of the accumulation of work and time and, you know, and love and nurturing that was put in to get to where everybody then now sees it, you know. And so it just, for me, the biggest thing is patience. You gotta ride it out. You gotta just, and stay the course, you know. Like if you have a vision and you have a mindset, don't just put it aside just because 1 month it went poorly. It's the same exact thing with, like, let's say nutrition and fitness, you know? Like if it's not happening in the now, like in, hey, I just started this program 3 days ago and I've seen no change. It's like, yo, you have to give it some time. You have to have patience with the process, you know? And it's not just always, and Ben Bergeron says it great. Ben Bergeron is the owner of CFNE, which is CrossFit New England, and a coach to many games competitors, CrossFit Games competitors, and champions as well. And he says it's so great when it's the focus isn't the goal, right? And it's to be happy in the process, because the process, there's more days that you're going to stay in the process than you are when you actually reach whatever goal you have. Because when you reach whatever goal you have, it's in the moment, it's great, and then after that, well, what do you do after that? There's a new goal, right? And so if you can stay in the process and stay happy and enjoy that journey and that process, I think you're gonna have a better time. And so for me, it's patience, man. Just hold on to it. Just take it a day at a time, and take all the good that comes in as well. I wish I would have taken more time earlier on in the process just to understand all the amazing things that were actually going on, than literally worrying about every little thing and not being able to enjoy that.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Excellent. All right, last question. Where do you see Prestige Fitness Aventura in 5 years?
Not you.
Me? Well, all I can say is I hope to see us continuing to do what it is that we're doing. And when I say that, I mean about giving our members and our community the best service we possibly can, right? I'm a big believer in you can only give 100%. You can't give more than 100% because then that would be your 100%, right? And so we come in every single day giving 100%. So I know in 5 years, we'll still be giving 100% of what it is that we have, you know? 8, 9 years in, we haven't lost that passion of what it is that we're doing. We absolutely love it. So I definitely know that won't go away. I really hope to see I really hope to see in the next 5 years newer faces, more faces, right? Because the more people that we can have come through our doors, the more impact that we can have on the community and on people's lives, right? So I hope in 5 years we're able to reach more and more and more people. Whatever that looks like, whether it's in this facility, in a bigger facility, in this same facility, whatever that looks like, I just hope that that's what we want to do. Is we just want to continue to impact.
We just want to be able to reach more and more and more throughout the years, for sure.
Absolutely.
You guys have any big stuff coming up that you want to talk about or announce, or could we just stay?
For us?
Trying to I don't know if anyone has
It's
big plans for
March,
the next.
March 19th. It's March 19th, 2020. If you're watching this in the future,
Today the
right.
20th.
today's the 20th.
Today's the 20th.
20th. So
There's not much we can do for the next
There's
few
not much
weeks
going
right
on.
now.
there's a
So
little
no,
something going around, but we're doing the best we can.
We're doing the best we
Yeah.
can. But I mean,
it's a highlight of my week right here.
Yeah.
You know,
but I will say this: what we are doing, obviously, with everything that's going on, which a lot of gyms have started to do. So I just want to also take a moment to highlight other gyms as well. Because we feel for business owners, we feel for small business owners, we feel for gym owners as well, because we are, so we're biased towards that. But what we have been doing is continuing to roll out workouts for people